Hello, I'm Aishwarya Rajput from Bunts Sangha's Shetty Degree College, Powai. And today we have our BAMMC alumni, Asif Khairani, who is currently working as Associate Creative Director at Leo Bernard. And it's a great pleasure to have you today.
Thank you.
I would like to ask you a few questions. Can you tell us about your journey from college to your current role as a writer in an advertising agency?
Okay, so I in BMM I did my specialization in journalism in my third year, and I was into political journalism, so I worked with The Wire and all these other publications. Then I eventually moved to A&M journalism, and I moved to advertising. My first agency was Flying Cursor Interactive, where I worked with Mahindra and Disney and other brands, and then eventually I just hopped and skipped and jumped agencies, and now I'm at Burnett as an associate creative director. So yeah.
Okay, so my next question is, are there any specific challenges you face in your role and how do you overcome them?
Yeah, of course, there are challenges on a daily basis. It's right from having a writer's block to not being able to crack a campaign to things like on set where the set is not ready or my actor doesn't want to speak a certain language, all of that. One thing that I'll specifically point out is, so I'm an English writer, right? But in a country like India, you cannot always talk in English. You will have to talk in Hindi. And by Hindi, I don't mean Hindi that you read in the books. It's spoken Hindi language. Okay? So understanding spoken language is very important. Now that's something that I struggled with for a very long time. Where जो everyday हम बातें करते हैं उसको कैसे तुम स्क्रिप्ट पे लाओगे? Like I did this Smart Bazaar campaign, simply just like saying, so if I'm talking about husband and wife, I wanted to talk about how the roles have changed today. I was basically saying something like husband and wife, आज मियाँ बीवी घर का ख्याल साथ में रखते हैं. That's a normal thing. Now how do I get the nuance here? Instead of saying मियाँ बीवी घर का ध्यान साथ में रखते हैं, what if I say कि आज बीवी husband के हाथ की चाय पीती है? That becomes a Hindi very specific nuance, right? So cracking those emotions is something that you keep struggling with. That how do I get deep dive? So now in the first line and the second line, I know I can get out an emotional connect in the second line, right? So yeah, that's a very big challenge that you face on a very daily basis as a writer or as a creative. So yeah.
Okay, so moving ahead, can you share some memorable projects or campaigns you have worked on and what made them stand out?
Okay, so one of the first brands that I worked on was Mahindra, and we did the Thar launch. Now, the Thar launch was very interesting because it was, we had done a lucky draw for the car, and it was a very unique car, first thing. Now, if you look at a Thar on the streets, it looks very different from all the other cars. So and we came up with this entire thing of adventure and off-roading in India, which was not there before really. People used to talk about urban cars and then rural cars like a Bolero, but off-roading in India was never introduced. So doing that with Thar was very interesting. Another very interesting campaign that I've done it still has to come out. It will come out during this World Cup, during this Cricket World Cup, was with ACO. Now that campaign is basically a one-match insurance. Now it's a very interesting product that we have come up with. The human insight comes from people in India very passionate about cricket, and they love to celebrate, right? And you will see on YouTube and you'll see on social media, people go nuts behind matches. Like they'll go on sofas and they'll jump around and bang things and break things. Now you tend to enjoy yourself when you celebrate that way. So what ACO is doing now is we are coming up with a one-match insurance where we are asking people to go ahead and celebrate. Okay, if you get injured during the celebrations, ACO will cover your health coverage will be done by ACO. So all injuries during the match of India versus Pakistan this World Cup will be covered by ACO. So that's a product innovation that we come up with, which is very interesting. So yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. And the lucky draw thing you talk about, Thar, what was that?
So yeah, so we were talking about, so there's something called scarcity marketing that is there in advertising, where you talk about only so many things, only this much limited time offer, the kind of things people talk about, right? We were basically what we were doing was we did a bidding war on the first Thar. Okay, so we put out that this car is coming out, people can bid for it. And it was a bidding that was done, and it was like a lucky draw bid sort of a thing, and then people who bidded got the chance on owning the first Thar. And I think eventually that person sold it for double the price, because it was, so that all became a conversation, right? So yeah, that was.
As a writer, what do you expect that freshers should have in their CV, and like how should they approach agencies or companies?
So whenever we also get freshers in, there's obviously a screen test that happens. Okay, so we'll give them a certain task to do, and that helps us like sort of judge where their thought process and all is. Now, if you're a freshie who doesn't have who has not done anything, it's completely fine. But when if you even if you have your own blog, or even if it's something that you've put up on Instagram, even if it's something that's there somewhere, whether it's a WordPress blog or somewhere else, it helps. Right, so having it on the portfolio helps. So you don't have to be worried about ki, oh, mera first job, I don't have anything to show. You can keep writing, and like even in college time, put those things out there. So whether it's an Instagram story, or if it's a blog, or if it's some Behance post that you do, whatever it is, even if it's a tweet that is very creatively written, you can make it a part of your portfolio. Because we just look for thought. We look for writing to hai, but we look for thought also. So that if it comes across, why not? So keep doing other things, keep writing, make something out of it. And we have social media, our entire generation has social media. So why not make the most of it now? It doesn't have to be कि तुम सोच बैठ के हर हफ्ते एक blog लिख रहे हो, but जब भी लिख रहे हो कुछ तो है out there, you know. So just do that. It helps. And see, again, while CV and all matter, your thoughts is what will help you. And that test that you will do, the more creative way you do it in, the more eye-grabbing way you do it in, that's what will help. So in the first job, it is very important to get your attention of the people that are giving you the job. So.
But won't the language matter? मगर किसी भी language में लिखोगे and portfolio में डालोगे तो चलेगा?
It will depend on what the test is, no?
Okay.
So if it's in English, it's in English. If it's in Hindi, and they will judge that. So they will tell you, they will see if you're an English writer or a Hindi writer. Okay. And then they'll give you the task accordingly. So, but it is not about writing in your first job. They will all look at what your thinking is like. Okay. And that thinking, when they'll see, then they will make a good writer out of you. They will train you to be a good writer. But that thinking has to be very important. That thinking ka kuch to some root of that thinking has to be there, no? So that's what they will look out for.
Last question to you is, what advice would you give to aspiring writers who are interested in pursuing a career in advertising?
Okay, so while I'll say keep writing, while I'll say don't only specifically write for advertising, write apart from that, write whether it is poetry, whether it is just journaling, whatever it is, just be at the practice of writing. I would also say like write with a pen and paper. मैं थोड़ा old school है वैसे. I like instead of typing, write with a pen and paper because it helps you. It flows better. Your thoughts flow better. I would always say go out and explore with people and like explore human relations, explore the world, because having a human insight is very important. Writing ka kaam in advertising is not only writing. That's the easiest work to do. Okay. So if I'm writing a script, writing the script is the easiest job. What to write is the difficult job. Yeah. Right. So what to write is the point, right? So that will come from thought, that will come from idea, it will come from human insight. These things will come only when you go out and explore, only when you meet more people, only when you do multiple things, only when you indulge in your multiple interests. So a good writer will always be able to write good things, but he cannot write good things till he doesn't have good thoughts to match it. So yeah, apart from writing, explore other things, keep doing other things. At the same time, keep writing as well.
And it was great having you here, and I hope our students learned something valuable.
Thank you.
Thank you.